Welcome to the Membership Guys podcast. Kick-ass advice and tips for membership site owners.
What's up, everybody? This is episode 206 of the Membership Guys podcast. I'm your host, Mike Morrison, and this is the place to be for the proven practical tips and advice you need to grow your membership business. When running a membership site, most people tend to focus all of their attention on their content and their community. It makes sense because, after all, this is what people sign up for. However, you could have the best content in the world, the most amazing community platform, but if your member experience isn't up to snuff, people just aren't going to engage. They're not going to log in. They're not actually going to use what they're paying for. So what can you do to ensure that you're delivering a great member experience? Ultimately, this all comes down to finding ways to make your members feel extra special. So on today's episode, I'm going to talk about 6 ways in which you can do just that. The simplest of which is to ensure that any new members who join your site are welcomed to your membership personally. We definitely recommend, if you are using forum software, that you have an introduction section in your forum, and that as part of your member onboarding, you encourage all new members to introduce themselves to the community. That gives you and your team an opportunity to go in there and to personally welcome each and every person who joins your membership. That's going to give a great first impression, particularly if people are joining your membership for access to you as an expert, an authority, or an influencer. Quite often people will assume that they'll maybe only see you in the community sparingly. So if right off the bat, you are stepping up, you're taking the time out to say hello to them personally, then that can go a long, long way. Even if you're not using a forum, perhaps you're using a Facebook group, you can encourage people to post individual introductions, or maybe every week you have a new member post where you welcome every single new person who has joined your site. If you're doing live Q&As, maybe you're doing member news shows, actually call out your new members by name. People love hearing their own name. That recognition can, again, go a long, long way. And just the fact that you've noticed that they joined and you're expressing your appreciation for the fact that they're here, that's going to make them feel pretty special. You could go one step further. You could send personal welcome videos using a platform like BombBomb.com or Bonjoro. You might even send little welcome packs. Now, stuff like this might be a little more challenging to scale on a large basis. If you're getting hundreds and thousands of new members a month, you might not be able to record a personal video for each and every one, or maybe unrealistic for you to send out little welcome packs to everybody. But these are certainly well worth exploring in terms of giving you ways of going that extra mile to make your members feel pretty good about their decision to join. Something else that's pretty simple but can go a long, long way is simply remembering little details about members, paying attention to things about each individual person. So as an example, let's say you do live Q&A calls in your membership. If you have someone who turns up and asks a question, when you reply, saying something as simple as, "Oh, hey, if I remember rightly, you're from Australia, so I know that this call's really, really early for you. Thanks so much for coming along." So simple. So trivial, but it just shows that you're paying attention. And the fact that you paid attention to them, you've remembered who they are, you've remembered that detail, is going to make them feel pretty special. You know, they're not going to collapse out of sheer giddiness and build an effigy to you for you just remembering where they're from. But again, it's little touches like this that go a long way, especially if they're relevant to what they're asking. So again, let's say you've got a guitar membership, somebody asks a question in your forum on your Q&A call. If you can actually say, "Oh, actually, I remember you recently switched from a 4-string guitar to a 5-string guitar, and so my advice is this." Again, little details go a long, long way. Now, obviously, if your memory sucks, it might be harder for you to do this, but you can use customer relationship management software if you wish. If you're using things like Infusionsoft or ActiveCampaign for your email marketing, you can put little notes about your members on their profile too, which again can be useful for jogging your memory and helping you to pull out these little details that are going to make people feel you paid a bit more attention to them than they may have anticipated. This goes even further if you can loop members into relevant conversations within your community. So quite often if people are posting questions, what they're really wanting is an answer directly from you. But if you can pull other people who you feel are going to be able to contribute to a discussion or are going to be able to give a fresh perspective when answering a question, if you can bring those other people in, this not only shows that you've remembered something about the people you're looping in, but it also can be really validating because it's showing that you value their opinion, perhaps even more than you value your own ability to provide your take on a question or your contribution to a discussion. Everyone likes to be validated. Everyone likes to be seen, to be recognized, to be remembered. And looping other people into conversations by tagging them in a Facebook post or in a forum discussion, it also encourages more voices in the discussion so that it doesn't become all about you. Again, we mentioned sometimes when people ask a question, they really just want an answer for you, but you might not be the only person who can answer that question. And depending on the topic itself, you might not be the best person in your community to answer that question either. But because you're the figurehead, sometimes you'll have members who'll see that question, maybe they've got something to say, but they'll hold back until you've answered because they'll feel that it's not their place to respond, to participate. But if you're the one actually pulling people into the conversation, that can be quite empowering. It makes for much better discussions, and ultimately it lightens the load for you too, because you're not having to answer absolutely everything. So it's a big win all around. But again, in terms of making members feel special, making them feel recognized, remembered, empowering them, showing that you care about their opinions, that you value them so much that you're actually inviting them to give their take, again, that can make people feel pretty good about themselves. Something else we definitely encourage you to do is to reach out to members if they suddenly go missing. So, if you've got someone in your community who's a regular fixture, they're turning up several times a week, they are a power user, they're chiming into conversations, they're starting discussions, they're an active, engaged, regular part of the community, and then suddenly they kind of drop off, they disappear, you haven't heard from them for a while. You want to be jumping onto that. You should be reaching out to those people personally. Send them a quick message, a quick note, a quick email, just saying, hey, we've missed you. We've noticed you haven't been around quite as much. Just want to check in and make sure everything's okay. This shows that you care. It shows that someone's absence is being felt, and by extension, they're going to really feel like they're a valued member of your community because they're so valued that you are missing them when they're not showing up. Now, sometimes somebody just gets out of the habit of logging into your community, and so this can be a little bit of a jolt, a little bit of a kick up the backside that gets them back into that routine. But other times, maybe something's happened in that person's life that has affected their ability to actually use your site. Maybe something's happened in their family that makes your membership a much lower priority for them. Again, just by showing that you care, it gives them the opportunity to kind of say, well, actually, I've been dealing with this issue. And then in return, again, you get the chance to be able to send your wishes to them. And again, just show that you care. So keep an eye on this stuff. It largely comes down to just being attentive. But if you're using tools like Intercom, for example, that can actually flag up when you have members who are slipping away. So it'll actually identify a list of people who haven't logged into your website for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, whatever you want to set it to. You can regularly review that. And if there's any names on there that jump out where you think, oh, actually, hang on, that's right, I haven't seen that person around for a while, or that's strange that they haven't been logging on, then you can reach out to them individually. Now, you can actually automate that. So again, if you're using a tagging or an automation-based email marketing system like ActiveCampaign, Entreport, ConvertKit, Infusionsoft, you can put stuff in place that will automatically flag when someone hasn't been on your website for a while and can send out a series of emails. Intercom, which I mentioned before, that can do the same thing. So if you have a particularly large membership, it might just be easier for you to automate this. But wherever possible, if you are looking at this personally, you're actually going in there and you're checking your slipping away list, or you're just keeping your ear to the ground and paying a little attention to who your power users are, and you're in a position to actually notice when someone goes missing, then that personal touch can go a long, long way. Another way of making members feel really special is to join them in celebrating their successes. So encourage your members to post their progress, to share any successes they're having, any achievements, anything they're doing that they're particularly proud of. You want to cultivate a culture within your community where all wins, big or small, are celebrated. They're acknowledged. People give each other a little bit of a pat on the back. So you could have a whole section in your community that is dedicated to enabling people to share their wins. Whether it's a huge financial result, a massive weight loss, or even, just getting a nice bit of feedback from one of their customers. This is the sort of stuff you want to encourage people to share. When they share it, you can then jump in, you can celebrate it. You can give them a pat on the back. You can give them that big well done. Again, it's that validation, that recognition. People love that stuff. It makes them feel good. It makes them feel special. It makes them feel valued. So maybe you have that as a section in your forum. Maybe if you've got a Facebook group, you have one day a month where you encourage everyone to share their successes, or one day a week where everyone posts their wins. And then when they've shared that stuff, shout out their success stories on social, within your membership, across whatever platforms you have available to you. Brag about your members. Brag about the achievements they're getting. Be proud of that. You should want to share and to celebrate the successes that your members are having, because that reflects well on you too. You can go one further and actually have a member of the month where you actually shine the spotlight on someone in your community every month to thank them for their contributions, to sing out the successes that they've had, to highlight them as an important part in your community. Maybe you even send people gifts when they hit specific milestones. So, when they've lost a certain amount of weight, or when they've had their first $10,000 month, or whatever it is your membership's doing for them. Celebrating the success that your members are having, again, it goes such a long way in making your overall member experience a positive one, making your community a great, supportive, fun place to be, and all of that lends itself to a member base who enjoy being part of your membership and as such are likely to stick around. And finally, most of us running memberships, we are using some sort of content marketing as part of our strategy. So blogging, podcasting, putting out videos, doing Facebook Lives and stuff like that. You should use that platform to showcase your members wherever possible. So invite members onto your podcast, do interviews with them on Facebook Live, get them to potentially contribute to your blog, whether it's just contributing tips or whether it's writing entire articles, either getting them to share their own experiences or their expertise, or maybe just featuring them as case studies or interview subjects. Now, this is a win-win, because if you're featuring your members in your content, you get that organic promotion of your membership just by virtue of the fact that that person's a member. Because if you're talking to a member about their expertise, about their experiences, inevitably your membership will come up without it being a sales pitch. And the context of that individual member's story, their experiences, and them talking about it will make it much more relatable to listeners and to readers. It's not you shoehorning in a sales pitch, it's somebody just talking about their experience, their story, in which your membership plays a small part. Now, in terms of making members feel special, the recognition of being chosen to be featured in your content will be a big thing to them, particularly if you are well known and well respected as a figurehead, as a big name, an authority, an expert, an influencer within your industry. That validation, that stamp of approval, that they are worthy of being put up on that pedestal in a big way, of being elevated, of being showcased on your platform, that's going to feel real good to them. And of course, they're going to be getting exposure to your audience too. And in some industries, that's going to potentially be a huge deal. So those are just 6 ways to make your members feel extra special and to deliver a top-notch member experience. First of all, ensure that every person joining your site is welcome to your membership personally. Use their name, recognize them, thank them for joining, make them feel good about their decision to join your membership. Remember the little details and call back to them wherever possible to show that you're paying attention, to show that they've stood out. Goes a long way. Always be looking for opportunities within your community, within discussions, when other people have asked questions, to loop other members into the conversation rather than dominating all the discussions yourself. Again, that kind of validation, that kind of empowerment is going to make people feel pretty good. Pay attention to your community. Keep an eye and learn who are the people who are power users, who are always there, who are participating regularly in the forum, in your Facebook group. Pay attention if they start slipping away. If someone who is a regular fixture, a regular voice in your community suddenly disappears, reach out to them personally if they go missing. Let them know that you've noticed their absence, that you care, and that hopefully you're going to get them back into the membership. Fifth, you want to make sure you are celebrating your members' successes. Brag about the good stuff your members are doing. Be genuinely passionate and proud about the wins that they're achieving. And then finally, utilize your platform, the content you're putting out there, as a means of showcasing your members. Not only does it give you organic promotional opportunities for your membership, but that recognition of being worthy to be featured on your blog, podcast, video channel, whatever, that's going to be a big deal for that member. So what I want you to do is to go away, look at your own member experience and think about how you could implement some of the stuff we talked about today. And really it is just about being creative, about thinking outside the box, how you can elevate your member experience and add those little touches that go a long way to making your members feel extra special. Someone feels good about being a member, the more likely to remain a member. That is it for me for this week. Head over to themembershipguys.com/206. There you will find all the show notes, links to any resources we mentioned, and to any other content we think that you'll find useful related to today's episode. That is it. I am out of here, and I'll see you again next week. If you've enjoyed today's episode of the Membership Guys podcast, we invite you to check out the membersiteacademy.com. The Member Site Academy is the essential resource for anyone at any stage of starting, growing, and running a membership website. So whether you're still figuring out what your idea is going to be, or whether your website is already up and running and you're just looking for ways to grow it and attract new members, then the Member Site Academy can help you to get to the next level. With our extensive course library, monthly training, exclusive member-only discounts, perks and tools, and a supportive, active community to help you along the way with feedback, encouragement and advice, the Member Site Academy is the perfect place to be for anyone looking to start, manage and grow a successful membership website. So check it out at membersiteacademy.com.